Yesterday's science lesson was on slime in space, so I thought we would continue with a space theme for today. So we're going to be reading the book Planets and the Solar System by Patricia J. Murphy. And on the front cover of our book today, we can see all these different planets, and then this object here, and we'll find out what that is in our reading today. So what is a planet? A large round object in space that travels around a star. So it's a large round object that travels around a star and it is located in space. How was the solar system formed? No one was there to see it, but scientists have developed theories using the Hubble Space Telescope to guess how the planets may have formed. Billions of years ago, there was a giant cloud of dust and gas known as the solar nebula. The cloud collapsed in on itself and created a flat spinning disk. Most of the material collected together at the center of the disk and formed a star, the sun. The rest of the material in the disk began to stick together and grow larger and larger, and planets were born. Our solar system has 8 planets. So we have 8 planets and they travel around the sun. So if we look here, this big yellow half circle is the sun. We have our 8 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. We also mentioned the Hubble Space Telescope, and this is something created by NASA that allows us to learn more about the planets. So we're going to look at Mercury. So Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. It is also the smallest planet. It is only a bit bigger than Earth's moon. So Mercury's landscape is rocky and covered with extinct volcanoes, flat plains, and craters. The temperature on Mercury is very hot, but it's not the hottest planet. Can you guess what is? Okay, so Mercury, it's the closest planet to the sun, and it's the smallest planet. Venus. Venus is the second planet from the sun, and it is Earth's closest neighbor and about the same size as Earth, but the 2 planets are very different. So Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. It can reach temperatures that are hot enough to melt metal. Venus is also the brightest planet in the sky. That's because it is coated in a thick layer of clouds that reflect the bright rays of the sun. So Venus is the second planet from the sun, and it is the hottest planet. Earth. We should all be familiar with this planet because our home is planet Earth, and it is the 3rd planet from the sun. So Earth is home to millions of different living things, including humans. There are 7.6 billion humans who live on Earth. Earth is the only planet with liquid water. 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water. The other 30% is land. So Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun. It's our planet, our home planet. We live here, and it is the only planet with water. Mars. Mars is the 4th planet from the sun. Mars is sometimes called the red planet because of the dusty iron in its soil. Mars is a cold, dusty, and desert-like planet. It is covered with rough craters, tall mountains, deep valleys, and smooth plains. Mars has nearly the same length of day, changing seasons, and rocky surfaces as Earth. Scientists think Mars was once warmer, wetter, and more like Earth. So Mars is the 4th planet from the sun, and it is sometimes called the red planet because of its color. Jupiter. So Jupiter is the fifth planet from the sun, and it is the largest planet in the solar system. Jupiter and Saturn are both gas planets, and they are made of gases like hydrogen and helium. So that means that they do not have a solid surface like Earth, but may have a solid core somewhere inside. Jupiter has 79 known moons. Jupiter's largest moon is the brightest in the solar system. So it is the fifth planet from the sun, and it is a gas giant. Saturn. Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun and the second largest planet in the solar system. Saturn is known for its 7 rings. They are made of hunks of ice and rock. Although there are other planets that have rings, Saturn's are the easiest to see. Scientists think Saturn might have as many as 62 moons. Saturn's largest moon is bigger than Mercury. So it's always storming on Jupiter and Saturn. These storms create many of the stripes that you see on their surfaces. Uranus. Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun and has 13 faint rings. Uranus was the first planet discovered with the help of a telescope. At first, many people thought it was a comet or a star. A comet is a chunk of ice and dust that orbits around the sun. It is sometimes described as a dirty snowball. Uranus may be one smelly place. Scientists have discovered chemicals in the clouds of Uranus that have some scent of rotten eggs. Gross. So Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun. It was the first planet discovered, and it smells like rotten eggs. Neptune. Neptune is the 8th and furthest planet from the sun. It is more than 30 times farther from the sun than Earth. Neptune is dark, cold, and windy. In fact, it's the windiest of all the planets. Neptune was the first planet discovered using math. Scientists guessed that there might be planets farther out than Uranus and used math to guess where it might be, and they were right. So Neptune is the 8th and farthest planet from the sun, and it is dark and cold and windy. All right, so those were all of our planets and a little bit about space. So I just want to go back to the beginning and look at those planets one more time. So a little recap. We have the sun here. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and it is the smallest planet. Venus is the second planet, and it is the hottest planet. Earth is where we live and is the only planet with water. Mars is known as the red planet because of its color. It's like the rusty, sandy surface. We have Jupiter, which is the largest planet. Saturn. And Saturn is known for its rings, and it's always storming on Saturn and Jupiter. Uranus. It was the first planet that was discovered, and it also smells like rotten eggs. And lastly, Neptune. It is the farthest planet from the sun, and it is always cold and windy there. All right, so now you guys are going to go to the next slide to complete today's activity.